on over weeks that people are stealing as others are dying.
Yeah, that's true, Mark, our CAV reporter. The unfortunate thing is, as the coronavirus numbers rose in the last 6 months, the cancer of corruption became a festering lesion, eating away at the resources allocated to fighting the coronavirus. NTV did an expose on the COVID-19 millionaires that showed how much high-placed individuals misappropriated resources and donations that were meant to arm the nation against this unseen enemy. Take a look.
While the arrival of COVID-19 pandemic forced many to remain indoors, it opened doors for corruption cartels who raided the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, giving birth to the so-called COVID-19 millionaires. The grand theft started 12 days after the first positive case was reported. The first batch of a donation from Chinese philanthropist Jack Ma that included 20,000 testing kits and 100,000 face masks disappeared moments after arriving at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. 2 companies were appointed by KEMSA and authorized to clear the consignment from JKIA. There are records to show the companies received the kits, but there's no record showing where the goods ended up. Taking advantage of the global demand for crucial supplies for combating COVID-19, KEMSA gave direct tenders for medical supplies to a few chosen suppliers. The letters were signed by the then Procurement Director Charles Juma and the Chief Executive Officer Jonah Manjari. The contracts, which had COVID-19 medical supplies sourced at grossly inflated prices, were given to a few connected individuals, including government officials, politicians, and ruthless business people who took full advantage of the flawed procurement system at KEMSA. For instance, a firm known as Meds supplied N95 face masks at a cost of 250 shillings each, while KEMA, East Africa Limited, Burial International Limited, and Encata Diagnostic Limited supplied the same N95 face masks at a cost of 700 shillings per unit. Another company trading at Shield Trading and Logistics Limited and Megascope Healthcare Limited were to supply the same N95 face masks at a cost of 900 shillings per piece. This is over 3.5 times the price of the lowest supplier's cost. KEMSA also bought personal protective equipment kits at 9,500 shillings compared to the 5,000 shillings market price.
We are the ones who told KEMSA they cannot continue importing PPEs. We developed individual national capacity for manufacturing of these things, and consequently informed, directed KEMSA that they must now buy locally instead of buying from overseas. That measure alone brought down the cost of PPEs from 9,000 shillings to 4,300 shillings and still going down.
With the COVID-19 curve seemingly flattening, KEMSA will now be forced to dispose the COVID-19 medical supplies at a throwaway price after initially purchasing them at higher prices. The graft at KEMSA is now being investigated by the EACC, DCI and Parliament. Private health institutions also took advantage of the pandemic. The cost of testing for COVID-19 in many private hospitals is nearly 3 times the price of procuring the testing kits from suppliers. Many private institutions charge between 10,000 and 18,000 for COVID-19 tests, but at Kenyatta National Hospital, a COVID-19 test cost 5,300 shillings. By July this year, corruption had cut through the healthcare system in the country. Looting of funds allocated for medical supplies, inflated prices of desperately needed test kits, and protective gear for health workers pioneered the establishment of money-hungry COVID-19 Millionaires Club. KEMSA CEO Jonah Manjari, Head of Procurement Charles Juma, and Commercial Director Eliud Mureithi have since been suspended following the airing of the explosive expose COVID-19 Millionaires on NTV. The KEMSA Board of Directors and Secretariat, that included Chairman Kembi Gitura and suspended CEO Jonah Manjari, was summoned before both the Joint Senate Committee and National Assembly Health Committee.
There were requests from the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable...
Written or by phone call?
Either phone calls, most of them SMSs and phone calls.
The board does not interfere or directly interfere with procurements. But I did say, did I not, that it is the work of the board to direct the management.
The chair of the board, a former senator, is now saying I do not have any role in procurement, yet you are directing that contract be signed immediately. What is your interest?
With the 21 days deadline given by the president to the investigative agencies to get the bottom of the matter looming, the EACC conducted a series of raids at the offices and residences of a number of KEMSA senior managers, a day after the grilling of board members.